lost hundreds of dollars in a few positions in my portfolio that I initially thought would make me a whole lot of money. But at this point, after all these years, I feel like I'm finally ready to just get rid of all those positions. At least I think. Why is it so difficult for people to just get rid of positions, especially when it's at a loss? Why do we make stuff like this so personal? And most importantly, what should investors that are in a similar position like I am be looking for and keeping in mind before we finally decide to sell? So, the biggest reason why I feel like a lot of people, including and especially myself, like to hold these positions that we have in the stock market, even though we're taking a major loss, is because of something I actually just previously learned called the sunk cost fallacy. Let's imagine you're a college student, something that I've been before. You're 3 years into your biology major, you're almost there, that white light is right in front of you, and you hate it. All the prerequisites you've taken, the homeworks, the quizzes, the exams, make you realize that you are in no shape to be a biology major. It's not something you want to do anymore. But then you sit down and you think, okay, I've spent hundreds of hours doing homework, studying, procrastinating, and tens of thousands of dollars to get to the point where I'm at right now, and I only have 1 year left. I might as well just finish it out. That whole logic, that whole idea of staying in the position you're already in despite all the losses you've had is the whole aspect of what the sunk cost fallacy is. So a website, I looked it up, defines the sunk cost fallacy as a logical fallacy that entails sticking with a losing or failed venture because you've already invested time, money, or something else that you necessarily can't get back. And when it comes to some of the investments I have in my portfolio, I have spent a substantial amount of time and money, at least to my own standards, and I've held them for a significant amount of time. And regardless of those major issues, I still feel it right here that selling those positions is the right thing to do. But just in case, for the sake of you and myself, here are a few things that we can keep in mind to make sure that you and I are making the right decision when it comes to selling those positions, even if it's at a loss. Including actually one pretty cool thing that might even promote selling. The first rule is don't sell just because of the share price. And I know that sounds really weird and totally against what I just said and totally against what I and a lot of you guys out there probably feel. It's the first thing that we see that makes us consider buying the stock in the first place, and it's the first thing that we see that makes us consider selling in the first place. But the other day, I watched a video by this YouTuber whose name I don't remember, but I'll credit their channel in the description below. And their video was about this pretty important guy that you guys may know, Warren Buffett. And he had this very memorable and inspiring quote about stocks.
You know, one of the important things in stocks is that the stock does not know that you own it. You know, you have all these feelings about it, you know, and you know, it doesn't give a damn.
But seriously, they don't care how you feel when you bought them at a certain price. They don't care how your friend felt when they made more of a profit than you did because they bought sooner. And they definitely don't care how you feel when their price is at a certain position and you're losing money. So we, including myself, because I still have problems with this, we have to try to remove emotion from this situation so we can take more of that mentality and focus on things that are a little bit more important. So with that being said, another thing you could do is review the company and what it's been up to. This can actually give you the opportunity to see what the company has or hasn't been doing that could be resulting in the losses that you see. Yes, I understand that I just said don't focus on the share price, but I mean don't focus just on the share price. It is important to see what companies have been up to that determine what that price has been doing, because share prices go up and down for a plethora of reasons. And if you find out they're doing something wrong and it's causing that price to go down, then there you go. For example, the first thing that I like to do before I even consider buying a company stock is to see what their mission statement is, or what is their end game. What do they want to do? That'll definitely gravitate me more towards buying a share of whatever that company is, on top of what their PE ratio is, if they have a dividend yield, what that is, stuff like that. So if I do research and I notice that their focus lately is totally different from what my intentional liking of that company is, and I notice around that same time of whatever announcement they made of that new focus that the price has started to go down, then that might be a red flag that I need to sell. Another thing you can check out is the sector the company is in, and more specifically the competition around it. For example, I have a pretty small position in Peloton and I'm losing a lot of money in that company, but Peloton is a very competitive fitness brand, and they're mostly known for the bikes that you'll see at studios. And they've been really hot during the pandemic when everyone was staying indoors, and lately, not as much. That's actually not the company I'm specifically talking about with selling. The company I'm talking about is BodyFit. They are a similar company. They're known for Insanity, the workouts you used to see on TV, and they have bikes as well. That company is a SPAC, or a special purpose acquisition company, that didn't do well out the gate. And I personally have horrible timing when it comes to SPACs. I invested at its peak at $10 or something like that, and it's been down ever since. So the point is, if a company you're investing into, like me with BodyFit, is in a sector where it's with a lot of competition like Peloton, and it's not doing well in comparison, then that might also be another reason to potentially sell or continue to do additional research before you decide to sell. Now, the one thing that you actually do want to keep in mind that could potentially be in your favor if you do decide to sell for a loss is how it could actually affect your taxes in a good way. So when you sell for a profit, you're eventually going to get charged what's called a capital gains tax. And that tax percentage is based on how long you've actually held the company. So if you've held the position for more than a year, you're going to get charged long-term capital gains tax. And if it's less than a year, it's going to be a short-term capital gains tax. The short-term would obviously charge you more than the long-term. However, and something I didn't know, when you sell for a loss, it could actually offset the gains that you've made and the taxes that you have to pay for it. As a matter of fact, if you realize or actually sell shares of a company or a position for more of a loss than you do for a gain overall, then you can take up to $3,000 of that loss and actually put it towards your taxable income. So let's say, for example, your taxable income is $50,000 when it's all said and done. And let's say you sell positions for a profit, and you sell positions for a loss, and your net total is negative $500. So that total will actually go towards your taxable income of $50,000, and your taxable income ends up being $49,500, which means that's less taxes you owe, or based on whatever else you have used to file your taxes, that gives you a better chance to actually make some money back. So the tax part, amongst everything else, is definitely something you want to keep in mind when you're considering actually selling those positions. Taking emotion out of anything that has to do with stocks in the stock market isn't the easiest. We all get really excited when we buy a position that seems pretty low and goes up, and then we all get pretty worried when that up stops and it goes down. But hopefully we could both use these tips, or at least some of them, amongst all the other tips you may find on a bunch of different videos to help us make the best decision. But at this point, I'm gonna be honest with you, I still have those positions. I gotta figure myself out. I'll keep you guys updated. But let me know in the comments below if you have any positions that you thought were gonna do great and they suck. And most importantly, you're still holding on to them and you're trying to figure out why, and you're just ready to let go and you don't know why you haven't. What are those positions? What's going on with you? Do you have any advice for us that I probably haven't mentioned, which is more than likely? Let us know in the comments below. But hey guys, I appreciate you guys watching. And until next time, as always, take care.